Hello and welcome to this video in which I'm going to show you how you can automatically generate images from your web application, which is especially useful if you want to create a documentation and if you want to make sure that the images in your documentation are up to date. This is especially useful if you are doing the development process, and of course if you're developing, some things in your application change. It's not just styles but also the layout of your application. But with this neat little trick you can make sure that the images in your documentation stay up to date with very little effort. For me, this was especially useful because I didn't have to manually create all the images, which takes honestly quite a long time. So in this very short script, we are going to use Selenium WebDriver, and in my case I will use Chrome. You can also use Firefox for this task, but you have to make sure that you have a window manager. In my case, I'm currently using Windows, so it's fine. But if you're on Linux or if you're on a Linux box, you have to make sure that you have a window manager installed. Otherwise, you will not be able to run Chrome or Firefox and take the screenshots. What I'm doing is I'm defining a delay function in the beginning, which we will need later on. And then we already have the main function, in this case our screenshot function, which is doing most of the work. The inputs for this function are a URL, not very surprising. We have an XPath, which will be used to define only sections of our web application or our website from which we want to take our screenshots, which is nice because this way we don't have to take a screenshot from the whole page. We can choose and pick what we want to actually have in our images. Then we would define the output path where we want to save our images. This is also nice because we can just override existing images this way, making sure that they are up to date. The function itself is very simple. I mean, if you look at the code, there's not much going on. I would like to pick one or two sections, however, which might be of interest. One is this part here, which is responsible for sizing or defining the window size of our Chrome instance. In my case, I chose 1024 pixels to 800. Whatever you want to use for your images, of course, depends on your use case. If you use an XPath, however, the images can be smaller. It's just how large is the Chrome window in our case. Then this is a little special case for me, so you will probably not need it. I'm creating images for a demo application, and in this demo application I have a login, and the login has already provided some user data, and in order to log in you only need to click the login button, which I'm doing right here. Then later on it's searching for the XPath, and then we are saving the screenshot of that XPath. Outside of the function we are defining an array. It's very simple. It just has the URL, it has our XPath, and it has our destination path where we want to save the screenshot. All of these three parameters then later go into our function as defined up here. What might be interesting is how to get these XPaths. XPaths are kind of similar to CSS selectors, but if you don't know how to get these, well, you can just go into Chrome. Here's my little website, and you go into the inspection, and then you just pick and choose the elements that you want to take a screenshot of. In my case, for example, I would like to take a screenshot of this element right here. I do right click, copy, and I say copy XPath. If I do this, I can go back in here, and if I insert it, you can see I now have the XPath that I can use in my array. Sometimes you maybe want to adjust the XPath a little bit. in order to make it more simple or to generalize the XPath. Because if this one is wrong, it cannot take a screenshot of that page or of that section. So you have to make sure that the XPath at least stays accurate, and sometimes it makes more sense to make a more general XPath so you avoid any issues here. Now, at the end of the array or after the array, we have a short function which calls our screenshot function, and we call it with a delay of 1 second in between to make sure that we don't open too many Chrome instances, which can crash our little script. So if we now go into our terminal, we can just run this script, right? And you can now see that the script opens various Chrome instances to the defined aspect ratio, which is in this case 1024 to 800, and it's logging in into the page and then navigating to the endpoint that I defined, and then it's taking the screenshot and saving that one to the file directory. So this takes a couple of seconds, not too long, and once it's done, which is now, we can navigate to our directory and see if it took all our screenshots correctly. So let me just do this. Here we go. This is the directory where I defined all the screenshots. Let me navigate in here, and we can see all the screenshots taken. Let me open one. So here I took a screenshot of a section of the page. This is not the full page. And here you can see an even smaller image, and I'm doing the same for other endpoints as well. In this case, many of the images have the same size, but as you can see here, I chose a different XPath, so I get a different size of our image, and here as well. So you just have to test it out a little bit, what you want to take a screenshot of maybe, and then you get some nice results, which hopefully also save you a ton of time. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.